UFC 321 going down in Abu Dhabi this weekend. How we doing, everybody? My name is Young Pasty, and I am here today to give you a pick and a prediction for every single fight on the card. It starts early, guys, 10 a.m. Eastern time for us Americans over here, okay? So set those alarms, get you a nice warm coffee, and wake up to some fist fights, okay? 2 championship bouts. Tom Aspinall taking on Ciryl Gane for the undisputed heavyweight championship belt. And then a rematch for the vacant strawweight belt. Jandiroba taking on Dern. And there's a bunch of other good fights and good fighters that I'm excited for on this card. Murzakanov, Jose Delgado. Klein versus Rebecki should be a good fight. Beast Boy, Chris Barnett, you already know. Alright, so yeah. UFC 321 is stacked. And I am super excited to break down every single fight. Now, before we do that, though, we got to recap last week. Pulling the results up here right now for UFC Vancouver. We got a little smoked here, guys. 6-7 on the picks. 6 underdogs come through on the card. Bakoyev massively fraud checked. That one hurt, guys. That one hurt me a lot. RDR. Dude. You threw in the towel. You gave up. You're never going on my bet slips again, bro. I don't bet on quitters. Wow, I didn't know you were a quitter, DeRitter. Rainier de Quitter is what I should call you. You fucking piece of shit. Ugh, that one hurt too. Now, we had a couple of fun fights, right? Mike Malott and the Kevin Holland fight was kind of fun. Ayman Zahabi versus Marlon Vera was a back and forth fight. Manon coming out with a crazy KO in the first round, upsetting the Canadian in her own country. Not upsetting her, but you know what I mean. She was a favorite. Yeah, I mean, there were some nasty knockouts on here. Drew Dober, Richie Lang, the Kyle Nelson Frivola fight should have ended in the first round, but I mean, I don't know. Dan Miragliotta, he must have some hearing issues because this hasn't happened. This isn't the first time that's happened where he's called rounds early. He thinks he's hearing bells and shit. Like, I don't know. Dude needs to be checked out. But it was a wild, weird week. 6-7 on the picks for UFC Vancouver. The bets were not very hot either. We have down weeks, guys. We have down weeks. We've been in a little bit of a slump. But we're picking it back up this week for UFC 321. We're going hard for the pay-per-view, okay? I got a bunch of good reads. I got a bunch of good looks. And I'm going to give you guys solid picks this week, okay? So let's get to it. The main event for UFC 321, the undisputed heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall taking on Ciryl Gane. What are the odds out here on the fight? I think Aspinall's like minus 400. Minus 425 for Aspinall. Plus 320 for Ciryl Gane. My pick for the fight's Tom Aspinall. I mean, guys, this was an obvious pick, is it not? I mean, first off, this should be Volkov here in this title shot. This should be Volkov. He got robbed against Gane. He did. And even though I did back Ciryl Gane in that fight, Volkov got robbed, right? And Gane, if you're not handling Volkov, what makes me think you're going to handle Tom Aspinall? What makes me think you're going to win against Tom Aspinall? This dude, insane heavy hands. Way more physical, way more quick. The grappling and the wrestling is a lot better. There was a reason John Jones was ducking Tom Aspinall, because he didn't want to fight him. Nobody wants to fight this guy. He's running through everybody. Yeah, he technically has a loss to Curtis Blades, because that's because he got injured. And that's not because Curtis Blades went out there and injured him. It was just one of those one-off kind of injuries that just kind of, sometimes they happen in the octagon. Don't get it twisted, okay? That loss really isn't a loss. So, I mean, he's beaten everybody in the freaking UFC. He's already beaten Volkov. He's beaten Tybura. He's beaten Sergey Pavlovich. He's just coming off a win, his little rematch win against Curtis Blades. Hasn't fought in over a year. Dude's hungry to get back in the octagon and defend the belt here. Ciryl Gane is supposed to be this elite grappler. No, he's not. The grappling is not better than Tom Aspinall's, in my opinion. And I just don't know what he's done to, make these leaps and bounds and improvements to be fighting Tom Aspinall here. Ciryl Gane lost to Francis Ngannou. Ciryl Gane lost to John Jones. Ciryl Gane will lose to Tom Aspinall. Okay, he's one of those elites. He's one of those guys that are at the tippy top. I don't believe Ciryl Gane even deserves this title shot. It should have been Volkov in this spot. They're not giving Volkov that light there because he lost to Aspinall in the past. This is Tom Aspinall all day. Tom Aspinall by knockout, whether it's on the feet, whether it's on the mat. I do not have one bit of faith in Ciryl Gane this week. So, Tom Aspinall by KO is my official pick for this main event. Let's go. All right, moving on to our co-main event of the evening. We have Virna Jandiroba versus Mackenzie Dern. Odds on the fight plus 110 for Virna, minus 140 for Dern. My pick for the fight is going to be Virna Jandiroba, okay? Give me the manly looking woman. Give me the girl who has this lazy, messed up looking eye. Okay? I think her grappling is superior to Dern's. And I understand she lost the last fight versus Mackenzie Dern. But that was 5 years ago, guys. That was 5 years ago. And ever since then, Jandiroba's been pulling off wins. She has 5 straight here. Angela Hill, Marina Rodriguez, Lupi Godinez, Amanda Lemos, JunYoung. Virna has been stacking up some solid wins in the UFC for sure. And Dern's coming off a pretty impressive submission versus Amanda Haqparast and a pretty nice win over Lupi Godinez, but she lost to Alama Lemos. All right, she lost to Jessica Andrade. Jandiroba has handled those women. Okay, and let's be honest. In Dern's last fight versus Ribas, she lost the second round. She was getting out grappled. And Virna, in her first fight with Dern, didn't even use the grappling at all. And I don't understand why, first off, but it's like, is she scared to take her down to the mat? Is she afraid that she can't get her down? I don't know. Is she afraid that the strikes might get her coming in? Like, Virna just really didn't use her grappling in the first fight. And I think she recognizes and realizes that, hey, I might need to use this to win the fight. I think she's the much superior grappler over Dern. If it stays on the feet for 5 rounds, stays on the feet for dang 3 rounds. Like, Mackenzie Dern's probably the better striker. Now, in the first fight, Virna did win a round versus Dern, standing up on the feet. So I will give her credit for that. And Virna's older, too. Virna's at 37 years old. Mackenzie Dern's 5 years younger than her. So we've seen these high-level fighters in strawweight get a little bit older and start to fade, but it's been the complete opposite for Virna, man. She's been on a roll. She's been on a tear. She's not looking like she's declining. She's looking like she's inclining. She's looking like she's on the up and coming. Again, it's almost like a takedown or bust for Virna. She's going to have a tough time winning a striking battle versus Dern for 5 rounds. I just think that Mackenzie Dern hasn't, the people that she's fought up until this point since her first fight with Virna, she's losing to people that Virna are beating. She's kind of getting out grappled. I don't think she's making those strides and improvements that we've seen Virna do here. I think that both of these girls do deserve this title fight. I really do. And I think Virna's going to take it away with her grappling and her takedowns. Mackenzie Dern is thick. Okay, she might be able to stuff the takedowns, and she probably will. I mean, it's very key that she stuffs the takedowns. She has the edge in striking, in my opinion. So, yeah, I got Virna Jandiroba. We're going to take her by decision. I wouldn't be surprised to see a submission either. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Mackenzie Dern maybe win a round or 2 with her in top position. So it's going to be a close one, but I'm going to take the dog. Virna Jandiroba by decision. Let's go. All right, next fight. We have Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Bautista. Odds in the fight, minus 450 for Umar, plus 330 for Mario Bautista. My pick for the fight is Umar Nurmagomedov. Now that's just a straight pick. I'm seeing Mario Bautista at plus 500 in some spots, okay? And I just think 5-1 on a Mario Bautista is way, way, way outpriced. Like, Umar Nurmagomedov is takedown or bust here. I feel like I'm going to be saying that a lot for a lot of these fighters here. But he's takedown or bust. Now he's coming off a title loss to Merab, where I doubted Merab. I wasn't even on the Merab train at that point. Now I am, and I realize Merab is just a different machine. So no grief given for your first MMA loss to Merab in a title fight. You know what I mean? But Umar Nurmagomedov relies heavy on takedowns and top control. Now when he's on the mat, he's not really like trying to search for submissions or trying finishing people. He's like, just kind of laying there and doing some pitter-patter ground and pound, to be honest with you. And on the feet, at times, he's been cracked by people. Like Bezkat Almakhan, dude cracked him right off the bat. Dropped him down heavy. Corey Sandhagen, the times that he was on the feet, was able to, land some nice shots too. It's just like Umar Nurmagomedov is so takedown or bust. Mario Bautista. Now, he's not going up against elite grapplers like Umar Nurmagomedov. You could say, oh, he did Patchy Mix. No, Patchy Mix has been a flop in the UFC, right? Jose Aldo won it by split decision by just holding him on the fence. Beat a Ricky Simone, but he's not an elite grappler. Beat a Damon Blackshear, but he's not an elite grappler. Beat a Guido Canetti, but he's not an elite grappler, right? Umar Nurmagomedov is an OV from Russia, okay? This dude knows what wrestling and grappling is. And that's why the odds are where they're at. Do we see Mario Bautista on the mat too often? No, we really don't, right? And if he keeps this on the feet, it's going to be dicey for Umar, for sure, because Mario Bautista definitely has a striking edge. Mario Bautista got good movement on the feet, good boxing. Shoot, he could even hold him up on the fence. He could even get his own takedown if he chooses to. There's a certain point where I'm like, okay, I'm not betting on Umar Nurmagomedov. I'm not putting him in any parlays. I'm going to be throwing down on the underdog. Guys, do not bet on Umar Nurmagomedov this weekend. I don't think it's worth it. I really don't think it's worth it. He's sitting at like a minus 600 favorite in some spots. That is way too much against a proven guy in Mario Bautista. So, pick is Umar Nurmagomedov, but if I had a bet on the fight, it would probably be on Mario Bautista. Shoot, if it gets to like plus 600, like how far is this going to go? There'll be just a certain number where I just have to lay down on Mario Bautista. You know what I mean? So, Umar Nurmagomedov, not very confident in the pick. Take it with a grain of salt. I think Mario Bautista is very live to win the fight, but a pure pick, Umar Nurmagomedov. Let's go. All right, next fight we have Alexander Volkov, who should be fighting for the title, versus Jailton Almeida. Odds on the fight, plus 145 for Volkov, minus 175 for Almeida. My pick for the fight's actually going to be the underdog. Okay, give me Alexander Volkov. Jailton Almeida is a one-trick pony, guys. Now, he's a top 3 grappler in the heavyweight division, in my opinion. Okay? I think it goes Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane, Jailton Almeida. I think that's the top 3 heavyweight grapplers in the UFC, right? But he's just so takedown or bust. And that loss to Curtis Blades, terrible look. You were so heavy on the takedowns that you didn't realize you're getting punched in the face and going to get knocked out. You think Alexander Volkov isn't going to realize that you're going to be shooting takedowns all the time? Think Alexander Volkov has bad takedown defense? You think Alexander Volkov has bad sprawls or a bad get-up game? The answer to all of those is no. Okay, Alexander Volkov's been there, done that. He's 38-11 in the not the UFC, in his MMA career. God dang it! Yes, I know he's 37 years old, but when we get into these older ages, into the heavyweight division, old it's like 40s. You know what I mean? 37, you still got it. The UFC was supposed to reward him off his robbery loss to Ciryl Gane, so they give him this fight on the same card as the heavyweight belt. It doesn't make any sense to me, guys. I think the UFC did him dirty. He won that last fight versus Ciryl Gane. Okay? And I will wholeheartedly admit that and say that. And I picked Ciryl Gane. Okay? I picked Ciryl Gane. I had a bet on Ciryl Gane, and I still think Alexander Volkov won that fight. He got robbed, guys. He got robbed for sure. And if Ciryl Gane isn't able to just manhandle you on the ground, take you down like that, I don't think Jailton Almeida is going to be able to do that. I think Alexander Volkov's been, he knows who his opponent is, right? You think he hasn't been training that up until this point? You think his camp was just striking? No, man. It was probably mostly takedown defense, get-ups, sprawls, etc. Jailton Almeida is takedown or bust. Would I necessarily bet on this fight? I don't know. But Alexander Volkov is going to be my pick. He's the much better striker than Jailton Almeida. If he keeps this on the feet, he could probably knock out Jailton Almeida, to be honest with you. So I think he might lose a round on the ground the first round. I think he'll realize what to do in the second and third. Turn up then, keep it on the feet. If not, he will do more damage than Jailton Almeida, and that's what they're supposed to be judging off of, right? So Volkov by KO is my official pick for this fight. Let's go. All right, next fight we have Alexander Rakic taking on Azamat Murzakanov. Odds on the fight are even, -110 a piece. My pick for the fight is going to be the undefeated Azamat Murzakanov. I am not hopping off the Azamat Murzakanov train. Alexander Rakic hasn't fought in almost a year and is coming off of 3 straight losses. Now, yeah, you can argue, oh, well, they're coming up against the best, some of the best in the light heavyweight division. Jan Blachowicz gets knocked out by him, gets knocked out by Jiří Procházka, decision loss versus Magomedov Ankalaev. Yeah, those are some of the best people in the light heavyweight division, but you really haven't looked the best in those fights. And your last win is coming 4 years ago, bro. You're fighting once a year and losing. Your last best win is Anthony Smith 5 years ago? I don't know. I think at this point, Alexander Rakic is cooked. And even though Azamat Murzakanov is 3 years older than Rakic, 3 years older than Rakic, he's the fresher fighter, right? He's got much more momentum than Rakic does. Murzakanov's a beast, guys. This dude hits hard. This dude has immense forward pressure. This dude closes distance easy. He has quick striking. Now, he doesn't come out like a bat out of hell. He doesn't come out too fiery, right? He's not reckless. He takes his time, gets his reads in, and eventually just finds that kill shot, dude. His cardio doesn't really seem too bad. In the later stages of the third round, if it gets there, yeah, you can get a little bit tired, right? He's always shorter and at a reach disadvantage. And I think that's why the odds are where they're at, because 6'4 to 5'10", 78-inch reach to Azamat Murzakanov, 71-inch reach. It's a pretty big disadvantage, right? And Rakic going up against people who are taller and longer, but Murzakanov has not had a problem closing distance or fighting taller fighters, right? Brenson Ribeiro, same kind of build. Alonzo Minifield, okay, he's a little bit shorter. Dustin Jacoby's a little bit longer. Devin Clark's a little bit longer. And dude, Murzakanov is taking these people out, bro. He's taking these people out. Showed grit, will, heart, 3-round cardio in the Dustin Jacoby fight. But he's knocking people out left and right. And I know it's a big jump fighting Brenson Ribeiro now to Alexander Rakic, but I believe Murzakanov deserves this jump in competition. I believe he will pass the test. He will, he'll pull up to the plate and he'll swing and he'll hit a home run here, okay? I think Murzakanov ends up knocking out Alexander Rakic. I don't think Rakic is going to be able to pick him apart from range. He's coming off an ACL injury, which I don't think he ever really healed from. You know what I mean? Never really healed from fully. I mean, Rakic is okay. He was a ranked fighter, has good kicks to the calf, good high kicks, has a decent 1-2, and actually some pop in the hands, right? But he's consistently put on the back foot. You're going to let Azamat Murzakanov put you on the back foot? Okay. You're going to get pressured into the fence and then get beat the fuck up with that one kill shot, you know what I mean? Good overhands and good hooks from Murzakanov. I'm not hopping off the train now. Azamat Murzakanov by KO is my official pick for this fight. Let's go. All right, next fight. And this is a damn good one, guys. We got Nasrat Haqparast taking on Quillan Salkilld. Odds on the fight are a pick 'em as well, -110 apiece. My pick for the fight's going to be Quillan Salkilld. Now, I'm not really a fan of Nasrat Haqparast, so just something to keep in mind here. There might be a little bias to this. Haqparast is solid though. Like, he's a solid UFC vet, has some good wins, and has set some prospects back in the past, right? But these past 2 fights, he's winning them closely, and I wouldn't say he's actually even winning these fights. Like the Rebecki fight and the Gordon fight, both wins off split decision, and I don't think they went the right way. I think Jared Gordon won that fight, and I think Rebecki won that fight too. But nevertheless, he has wins over them. Also has, some wins over like Rafa Garcia, Joaquim Silva. Nasrat's a solid UFC vet. All right, riding a 5-fight win streak here. But he's taking on a Salkilld, 2-0 in the UFC. Good win over JunYoung on the Dana White Contender Series, who's a rangy striker and who can grapple. That's the key thing, right? He can grapple. He can mix in the grappling. Nasrat has lost in the past, right? And he's losing to people that are mixing in the grappling. Dan Hooker, mixing in the grappling. Drew Dober, no, he's not mixing in the grappling. He just caught him with a good one. And they got pieced up from range from King Green, but Bobby Green. Ugh. That shit pisses me off. Naming yourself king. Anyway. And then he loses to Marcin Held. But all these people are taller and longer than him and can pick him apart from range. Bobby Green was able to box him up, piece him apart, and strike from range for 3 rounds and won a 30-27. You lost a 30-27 to Bobby Green. Then the fight before that, you lost to Dan Hooker, who was able to take you down, rack up minutes with control time on the ground, and outstruck you as well. 130-27, 130-26 on one scorecard. Okay? So the people that are mixing in the grappling are finding success. The people that are taller and longer against Haqparast are finding success. And I think Salkilld can take that game plan in. I mean, what are the I need to check the stats on here. So Salkilld is 2 inches taller and has a 3-inch reach advantage. Now I know that's not like a huge advantage, but Haqparast just has issues finding the mark on people. Yeah, he can find good overhands and things like that. But if you look at the striking numbers in like that Dan Hooker fight, he was barely landing on Dan Hooker, and he was put on the back foot easy. I think Salkilld is going to have his foot on the pedal. He's going to consistently move forward, right? And what I like about Salkilld is he has intent with his grappling, right? He's not just mixing it in here and there randomly. He has intent with the grappling. He won't give up on it, and he will consistently use it throughout the fight. Haqparast really has just gone up against like strikers here recently. Yeah, Jared Gordon mixes in some grappling, but it really wasn't effective in that fight. And I mean, let's be honest. I think Salkilld is probably better in grappling and wrestling than Jared Gordon is. All right. I don't like the cardio issues from Salkilld in that last fight versus Ashmus. Bad look. Won round 1 or round 2 pretty easy, right? But let him come back in the 3rd round, okay? Had me on thin ice at times, you know what I mean? So is he going to take the first 2 and kind of coast in the 3rd? I'm hoping that he's worked on his cardio here. I just think he brings a lot of things to the fight that Haqparast has not been accustomed to, hasn't seen in quite a while. He's been winning these split wins kind of barely. And I mean, okay, he's got a good jab. He likes to stick and move. Has some nice low 1-2-3 punch combos. But I've seen some holes in the game in the losses. I've seen some holes in the game with the wins. Okay? You're just kind of sliding by with these split decision wins here. So, Salkilld by decision. That's my official pick for this fight. It should be a good fight. It should be entertaining. I'm excited for this one for sure. Let's go. All right, moving on to the next fight. We have Ikram Aliskerov versus the Iron Turtle, JunYoung Park. Odds in the fight, minus 275 for Aliskerov, plus 220 for JunYoung Park. My pick for the fight is going to be Ikram Aliskerov. This monkey-looking Russian. I think he's able to crack JunYoung Park. I think he cracks the Iron Turtle's shell here. We've seen JunYoung Park get cracked and knocked down in a lot of fights here, honestly. But I don't think Ikram is going to be able to win this by decision. I think he needs to get a finish on JunYoung Park. JunYoung Park can take you to deep waters. JunYoung Park is 9-3 in the UFC. His only losses come into Fluffy, RoboCop, and then by a crappy split decision loss, in my opinion, to Andre Muniz. But JunYoung Park's path to victory here is to make this fight dirty, man. Secure takedowns. Control Ikram Aliskerov on the fence. Don't let him get his striking off. Don't let him get those power shots in. Take down Aliskerov. His top control is pretty dang good, too. He was riding a 3-fight submission finish wins. Oh, my God. That sounded awful. He was riding a 3-fight win streak all by submissions. So he hunts for submissions, and they're pretty dang good. Now, looking back in the past, you're like, well, who was the best person that JunYoung Park has beat? I mean, honestly, his best win is Brad Tavares. But if you look at Ikram Aliskerov, too, who's his best win? Andre Muniz? And you'll be like, oh, well, Ikram beat Andre Muniz, and JunYoung Park lost to Andre Muniz, so that means Ikram should win. That's not how this works. That's MMA math, and that don't work most times. Okay, that's not how this stuff works. But Aliskerov is just so explosive, man. He's got good front kicks, good heavy leg kicks, really good knees, too. And the power in his hands is just... whew. But this is just a fight that I'm not going to bet on, personally. Ikram Aliskerov, a chalk like this, ain't no way. You know, your loss to Whitaker really isn't aging too well, even though Bobby Knuckles does have power, right? Loss to Whitaker really is not aging too well. Takedown defense, like, not sure how that looks, to be honest with you, right? He can offensively wrestle, but how does he look on defense? How does he look on, you know, on his back? We haven't really seen that yet, you know what I mean? Again, he should be able to knock out Park. Park is a little bit chinny. Chark's been cracked at times, but we've seen him recover. And we've seen him come back in fights. To me, Ikram Aliskerov by KO or JunYoung Park. Ooh, JunYoung Park could get a finish too. Man, take this fight inside the distance, right? The under on this fight. Because JunYoung Park can find a finish on Aliskerov. Aliskerov gets tired. When are we seeing Aliskerov go to decision, bro? When's the last time he went to decision? Checking right now. 2022. And he's only been to decision in his career 1, 2, 3 times. And he's 16-2, so he's not seeing the scorecards too often. If he does, he's usually on the losing end. So, Ikram Aliskerov by KO is the official pick, but JunYoung Park is very live to win this fight. Might be a good live betting opportunity. Let's go. All right, next fight. We got a banger here, guys. We got Mateusz Rebecki versus Ludovit Klein. Odds on the fight plus 120 for Rebecki. Minus 145 for Klein. My pick for the fight's going to be Ludovit Klein. Man, this is a good fight. This is a good matchup. Shout out to the matchmakers here. Rebecki is tough as fuck, but he's so damn hittable. And he don't really mind getting hit either. But like at the end of every single fight, Rebecki's face is just messed up, man. Ludovit Klein, clean striker, clean boxing, likes a technical, pretty, style fight. You know what I mean? He don't really like those dirty kind of fights. He's coming off a loss to Gamrot, and it's not too bad of a look, even though Gamrot just got handled by Oliveira. Gamrot's a pretty high-level grappler and wrestler, and that's how he was able to win that fight, was able to take Klein down, nullify the striking, and hold him on the ground for 3 rounds, basically. Rebecki is a pretty good grappler, and I would probably say he has the grappling edge here. We just don't really see his grappling or wrestling on display too much in the UFC. He loves ending up getting in wars and just beating the crap out of people with striking. So I think if he implemented a heavy wrestling game plan, that could suit him well in this fight, and he could probably win a lot of minutes in this fight. He's got these short T-Rex arms. He's at a reach disadvantage in almost every single fight. 66-inch reach to 72-inch reach when these guys are both 5'7", you know what I mean? So he's got some really small arms, but he does not let that bother him. All right, he will close distance no matter what. That's why I said he likes getting hit, because he needs to close the distance. Just comes in eating shots so he can land some too. So his style is just striking. His striking style is just lots of volume and constant forward pressure. He does like to mix in the wrestling and grappling if he can. He's kind of been denied in the past and not able to use it too much. He does have a submission win in the UFC, I believe. Where is it here? Yeah, to Roosevelt Roberts. And Rebecki hits hard, dude. Rebecki hits hard. We see it in the Oralball fight. We see it in the Christian Duncan fight. Oralball can hit hard. But I think Ludovit Klein's able to sprawl. I think he's able to withstand the takedowns. I think he's able to keep the fight standing. And I think he's not going to wilt to the pressure. Those are really his 2 keys to winning Klein's, is to keep the fight standing and not wilting to pressure. Those are his 2 keys to winning this fight. I think he can take this on the scorecards if he keeps it on the feet. Again, Rebecki's tough. He'll go out there fighting blind. He don't care. He'll have all his eyes puffed up, barely seeing, looking like this. He don't care. Rebecki's not a giver-upper. Rebecki's tough, has heart, and he won't quit on himself. So, honestly, I see this fight going the distance, and the over 2.5 is minus 140, and I'm scratching my head like, why isn't it like minus 250? Like, I would really think that this fight goes to the distance at a high clip, so... Especially since Klein's going the distance in a lot of his fights. And Rebecki, I mean, shoot, he's at least getting to the third round in his fights too. You know, on the flip side of things, right? So I think the fight at least starts round 2. So Klein by decision. It's my official pick. It's a good one. I don't know if I can officially, you know, if I was a betting on this fight, I don't know if I could officially pick a side. This is a really close fight. But I'm going to give the edge to Ludovit Klein. I think he's a better striker. I think he can withstand the takedowns, and I think he won't wilt to the pressure. So that's my pick for this fight. Let's go. All right, moving on to the next fight. We have Abdul-Kareem Al-Sawadi, long-ass name, versus Matheus Camilo. Odds in the fight minus 115 for Abdul, minus 105 for Matheus. Camilo. My pick for the fight is going to be Matheus Camilo. This one's a kind of tricky fight here, guys, because we have a promising Matheus Camilo prospect and an Abdul-Kareem who I wouldn't say looked necessarily that good or impressive in his fights. You know what I mean? Likes to move around a lot, likes to mix in the kicks. His striking's all right. I think Matheus Camilo probably has the striking edge over Abdul. I don't know. Like, what's with the inactivity, though? What's with the inactivity of this guy? Like, what the hell? Fought on Dana White Contender Series 2 years ago. Had a fight a year and a half ago, and now you're just like, what's going on? He's from Palestine, but he's fighting out of Dallas. I don't know. I don't know what's the deal with this guy's inactivity, but again, I think Matheus Camilo is a decent Brazilian prospect. He likes to implement the grappling. But all his losses are by submission. Lost to Gabe Green by submission, where he honestly, I don't know, he gave up quick in my opinion. And I don't like people who give up. I don't like picking or betting on people that give up, but he's a little bit taller. He's 6 years younger. His striking is probably better than Abdul's. His grappling is probably way better than Abdul's. It's just a matter of, can he close distance and get him down? Because I've seen a lot of running around the octagon. Abdul does. He's side shuffling like crazy. So I don't know. I'm not really impressed with this fight. I'm not really excited with this fight. I saw it and I'm like, what the fuck do I do with this? So Matheus Camilo is the pick. I think he gets it done by decision. Not too high confidence in this particular fight. Not one I'm really interested in either. But hey, maybe it'll be a fun fight. You never know. Sometimes these fights where I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch this, they end up being like some of the best fights in the card. So we'll take Matheus Camilo. We'll take him by decision. That's my official pick for this fight. Let's go. All right, moving on to the next fight. I'm excited for this one. We have Valter Walker, our heel hook king, versus Louis Sutherland, the Vanilla Gorilla. Odds in the fight: minus 340 for Valter Walker, plus 260 for Louis Sutherland. My pick for the fight is Valter Walker. You think I'm going to doubt my heel hook king here? Ain't no way. I think he definitely has the grappling advantage. Striking wise, if it stays on the feet, Louis Sutherland probably could give him issues, right? But I mean, I think this fight plays out like all the other Valter Walker fights that we see, right? He just closes distance somehow, grabs on top of you, and gets a submission. I mean, 3 straight heel hooks. That is nuts. Now they're going up against, okay people, Dontel Mays, Kennedy Nzechukwu, and Junior Tafa. Those people are all right. And you're like, man, this guy lost to Lucas Brzeski. He must be trash. I don't know. He flipped a switch. Something changed in him. Something in his mind was like, damn, I just lost to Lucas Brzeski. He really turned it up after that. Louis Sutherland, he has fought in other organizations before, but every time he kind of stepped up to the big leagues, he lost. right? Lost in Bellator. I believe he lost in freaking PFL too. Actually has a win in PFL. Lost in LFA a couple times. Oh no, he did have a loss in PFL. Here to Abraham Babley in 2022. Anyway, every time he stepped up to the big leagues, he was not able to get a win or secure a win. Now he's coming out of Scotland, okay, Christian Duncan territory, all right? Dude is tough and can take a hit, has decent volume, but he can get put on the back foot and pressured against the cage, which I don't like. Valter Walker will definitely be able to do that. We're fighting in Abu Dhabi here. That's a tough place to fight for your UFC debut on a pay-per-view. Going up against the heel hook king with 3 heel hooks in a row. I just think Valter Walker is bigger than Louis Sutherland. I think he's stronger than him. I think he's going to be able to take down Louis Sutherland and get this submission win. All right, easy peasy. Louis Sutherland's giving me Mick Parkin vibes. Like a little sloppier of a Mick Parkin with a little more pop in his shots. But Sutherland ain't seen a grappler of the caliber that Walker is. And he'll realize that come Saturday. So, Valter Walker by submission once again is my pick for this fight. Let's go. All right, moving on to the next fight. Guys, these prelims are absolutely stacked. Jose Delgado versus Nathaniel Wood. Odds in the fight, minus 155 for Jose Delgado, plus 130 for Nathaniel Wood. This was one of those fights I went back and forth on. I could make a case for both fighters, but I ended up picking my boy, Jose Delgado. Okay, I have not picked against him since entering into the UFC and on Dana White Contender Series. Tall, long, tough-ass Mexican with insane KO power for this division. Brutalizes people with his kicks. Good striking, the knees. The knees are super killer and honestly has submissions too that we haven't seen in the UFC, but they are there. Trained out of a good gym at MMA Lab. Riding a 5-fight KO streak. Jose Delgado is a damn good prospect, okay? Let me tell you. Now, this is a big step up in competition, though. You're going up against Nathaniel Wood. I mean, gosh, this was a fight to book here, guys. Nathaniel Wood has beat some solid fighters in the UFC. Morgan Shariri, I know how to say it. Feely, Jourdain, Castaneda. These are solid wins in the UFC. And if he is able to take down Jose Delgado, if he's able to nullify that explosive striking, if he's able to win minutes on the ground, Nathaniel Wood could take this fight. But I don't see that happening. I think Jose Delgado comes in here aggressive. I think he comes in here and does what he does, right? Looks for the finish. Looks to put people out. Nathaniel Wood hasn't been put out for a while, right? His last KO loss coming against, who was that dude? Dodson, I think? Double checking. John Dodson in 2020, where he just came out like a bat out of hell in the third round and ended up getting clipped because he came in too recklessly. Now, that was 5 years ago, right? And I think he's shown a lot of strides and improvements and improved his fighter IQ since then. Jose Delgado, 5 years younger than Nathaniel Wood. So he was in that spot, right? That Nathaniel Wood was in that knockout. But anyway, I think Jose Delgado is a damn good prospect. I think he wins the first round at a high clip. Now, I don't think he can put on this pace that he does for 3 rounds. So if it gets into the second or third round, we could have some issues here, Jose Delgado. It could get a little dicey. But I'm not hopping off the Jose Delgado train yet. It's hard to deny the success. I think it continues. I think he knocks out Nathaniel Wood. Right? Like, there's just something different about Jose Delgado. All right? There's just something different about him. Now, if Nathaniel Wood's able to put Delgado away, impressive win. He's an underdog, and it wouldn't surprise me. I think the way that he's able to beat Delgado is to take him down and control him for 3 rounds. We saw Delgado, his only loss was in that same fashion. Getting taken down and not being able to get back up, having no answer, just getting grapple fucked for 3 rounds. If Nathaniel Wood can do that, he can win this fight. It'll be boring, right? But you'll be able to take out a prospect with smart game plan and fighter IQ. So my official pick for the fight is Jose Delgado, but Nathaniel Wood is also very live to win this fight. Let's go. All right, next fight. This is the fight I am most excited about on this card. It is officially Chris Barnett Fight Week. He is back, guys. Beast Boy is taking on Hamdi Adewahab. Odds in the fight. Plus 300 for Chris Barnett. Minus 400 for Hamdi. Man, this was an auto pick for my boy Chris Barnett. I do not pick against the Beast Boy, okay? Regardless of the odds, regardless of who he is going up against, okay? So take that into consideration. I have heavy bias on this particular fight. Chris Barnett is the guy that got me into UFC, guys, okay? I don't know why. I don't know why. But he is, all right? And he's back. Now, he injured himself in the Kennedy and Njoku fight. He did a stomp before the fight and he injured himself. So he was already compromised at the beginning of the fight. He really couldn't move around too well. Now he's taking on a Hamdi Adewahab, who is probably not 6'2", is probably a little bit smaller in Chris Barnett's size. Coming off a disappointing loss against Muhammad Usman, where he just did not put out enough volume. If he would have just kept throwing out more punches and didn't get so damn tired in the third round, probably could have won that fight. I think Chris Barnett's taking out Hamdi. I think Chris Barnett is knocking out Hamdi. Okay? Chris Barnett's explosive. Chris Barnett don't lack the volume. Chris Barnett may be getting tired at the beginning of the second and third round, but that's to be expected, right? This dude's freaking humongous. But I'm giving him another go. He's on a win-loss kind of trend here. And if we're following that trend, he is due for a win. Okay? Coming off the loss against Kennedy and Njoku. I just wish he wouldn't have injured himself in that fight because he would have gave himself a better chance here. And there's a reason he's only plus 300 and we're seeing Mario Bautista at plus 500, okay? Because can we really trust Hamdi? Yeah, he was an Olympic wrestler for Egypt, blah, 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 blah. You'll hear that so damn much. But you're 4-1 in MMA, bro. Now, Chris Barnett, 23-9, nothing to brag about either there, you know what I mean? But auto pick on Chris Barnett. Auto pick on my boy, Beast Boy. He's taking out Hamdi. He'll probably do it in the first round. He will probably do it in the first round. Chris Barnett by KO in the first round. I don't know what the odds are, but they're probably big. Actually, am I able to see it? Am I able to see it real quick? Let me pull it up real quick. Barnett wins in round 1 by KO plus 775. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I'd probably just go with the straight up money line if it's at plus 300. It might even get bigger come fight time. But yeah, Chris Barnett by KO all day. Hamdi the Hammer is going to get hammered. Okay, that's just how it is. Beast Boy's knocking him out. That's my official pick for this fight. Let's go. All right, moving on to the next fight. We have Azat Maxim versus Mitch Raposo. Odds on the fight minus 340 for Azat, plus 265 for Mitch. My pick for the fight's going to be Azat Maxim. Both of these guys are 0-2 in the UFC, both looking for their first win here. Raposo's training out of New England Cartel. Those guys are not doing so hot over there in the UFC, okay? Let me tell you. Raposo was supposed to be this superior wrestler, be able to take people down. His striking was supposed to come through. His striking was supposed to have lots of power, and we just haven't seen any of that stuff translate into the UFC. Now, Andre Lima, split decision. Okay, you know what I mean? Tough loss, tough fight. Losing to Sumu Darji by split decision. Okay, tough loss, tough fight. But Azat Maxim, I just think he's more well-rounded than Mitch Raposo. Raposo's supposed to be this insane wrestler, and we haven't seen it. I don't think he's going to be able to take down Azat. I think Azat's quicker on the feet. I think Azat's striking, and I think Azat's boxing are way more crisp. I think he's a lot more faster in the hands. He can offensively grapple and wrestle too, man. Azat's going up against tough people. All right, Charles Johnson and Tagir Ulanbekov. Those are much tougher fights than fucking Andre Lima and Sumu Darji. Okay, Azat's really been through the ringer here. But I think he pulls through in this fight. There's a reason he's minus 340. The striking is a lot better. He's going to be able to avoid the takedowns. I don't know, maybe Raposo gets maybe 1 or 2 takedowns and Maxim's able to pop back up real quick. Raposo is, he's tough and has heart, for sure, but that alone can't win you a fight, right? You need to have some skills to back it up. Prime example, AJ Cunningham. That dude has a bunch of heart. That dude is tough as fuck. but he don't have the skills to back it up, and he usually ends up losing. So it's probably going to be a situation like that. It's like, oh, Raposo put up a good fight, but he couldn't come through with the win. Maxim by decision is my official pick for this fight. Let's go. All right. Our last fight we're breaking down, and the first fight of the card. We have Jacqueline Amarim versus Mizuki. Odds on the fight, minus 450 for Amarim, plus 350 for Mizuki. I think this is a clear and obvious pick here, guys. My pick for the fight's Jacqueline Amarim. This girl obviously has a much better grappling skill set and a huge grappling advantage over Mizuki. Jacqueline Amarim has 4 wins within the last time, within the time that Mizuki has been off from fighting. Mizuki won against Hannah Goldie 2 years ago. Prior to that, last fight was 5 years ago and lost to Amanda Lemos. Beat a Yanan Wu by split decision on your Ultimate Fighter to even get into the UFC. Yeah, she's only 31 years old, but like the inactivity and the competition you're facing, man, you are no match for Jacqueline Amarim. Jacqueline Amarim is a nasty grappler, man. She's coming off, 3 straight submissions? And a KO win versus Montserrat Ruiz, all within the time that Mizuki has been off. Polyana Viana, Vanessa Demopoulos, Corey McKenna, Montserrat Ruiz. Do you think Mizuki's going up against all those people and finishing them? Hell no, dude. Mizuki, 15-6, unranked, 2-year layoff, beat people that aren't in the UFC anymore, is going to have tons of ring rust. She's not going to be able to defend the takedowns from Jacqueline Amarim. She's going to get takedowns super easy. She's probably going to get subbed up real easy, first or second round. I think Jacqueline Amarim by sub is a lock all day long. She's minus 450 for a reason. The girl's going to keep on rolling here. All right, they're giving her a layup. They want to put her on. They want to finish in the first fight of this card. And it's going to happen here. Jacqueline Amarim by submission. That's my official pick for this fight. Let's go. All right, guys. Those are all the official picks for UFC 321. This card is so stacked. The main card has bangers. The prelims has a ton of bangers. Honestly, I think the prelims are better than the main card, except for a couple fights. But nevertheless, I gave you a pick and a prediction for every single fight on the card. If you are new around here, or if you just have not yet, please click that subscribe button down there for me. We are on the road to 500 subscribers. We're in the 340s right now. Okay, so if you could do me a favor, click that button down there so we can get us up to our goal by the end of the year. Secondly, my Patreon's free. Links in the description. Check it out. Okay, that's where I put all my bets out when I place them. Bets video will be out Thursday this week, but I already have bets in for UFC 321, and you're going to want to see them before the video comes out because you got to get the odds when they're good. They always sway in the opposite way. Come video time and then come fight time, sheesh. It's hard to get the lines that I've got. So, yeah, check it out. Patreon's free. Links in the description. I am ready and excited to have a killer week for UFC 321. Young Pasty, whitest in the land, out. Let's go.